Hey guys, today I have for you some 263 action. Now the 263 is just a very strong, reliable tank that I like to play a lot. When a contract requires tank destroyers, or this new season comes out and you're grinding out those seasonal challenges and one of them requires you to play a specific tank class, and that just so happens to be tank destroyers, I usually look up at my lineup of tier 10s that are equipped, my favorites, and I usually pick the 263 to play a lot. And that's just because it's just a very strong all-rounder, in my eyes at least. Despite not having the most gun depression, it just works so well on many maps. You have good camo, good mobility, good armor, a great gun. You might not have the high pen heat rounds that some tank destroyers have and get to take advantage of, but 550 alpha damage with some premium APCR goes a long way. And having that flexibility, no matter what map, even hilly maps, we're going to do well here, obviously, if I'm showing it to you, right? Having that flexibility is just something good in a tank destroyer, especially the mobility aspect, because a lot of the times playing tank destroyers, right, especially like, say, a T95, if you get a bad map, or a map that you're kind of forced to snipe in, right, like maybe Prokhorovka or something, and you sit back and you wait for those snipes and your team wins, you start to chase damage. And that's one reason why I don't play tank destroyers that much, or if I do, they're usually the fast kinds, right? Because chasing damage always feels bad. But the 263 gets to keep up. It's not a slow tank. And if I choose to, I can play on the front lines. And that's because it has armor, which, back in the day when I was learning how to play the game, I didn't think it had. Because look at it. I mean, it's open top, it resembles the 263 a little, or the 261, the artillery. And there was sort of these tropes that as a new player you would start to pick up on, and you would start to learn. And this being an open top tank and looking the way it does made me think it had no armor. But then when I would come up across it, when I finally got to tier 10, you start to learn differently, right? And so I think that, on top of the fact that not many people play it, so not many people fight it in nowadays, leads to a lot of people just auto-locking or shooting your face thinking they'll pen. And so, ironically enough, getting block damage in this thing seems to be more reliable than tanks that people know they can't pen, right? That's always something that I go for too when I'm getting block damage contracts. So that's another reason why I might play this tank. Same with the 2684. Tanks people don't normally fight. They might not normally know how to shoot you. Now, I don't know why the CS63 is deciding to push into me when I was about to have a shot on someone. So if he's mad that I didn't help him in some way, despite not having any shots, ironically, he screwed me over in helping the rest of my team there for a second. But we're trying to pen the face of the VK. And the VK is another one of those tanks where you would think rear-turreted tanks side scrape better, but the VK actually toe peaks better until they buffed the Panzer 7, but the VK hasn't gotten that buff. So what I like about tier 10 is you pick up on these tropes, you pick up on these ideas, and there are a lot of tanks that subvert those ideas. And the 263 is one of them. It is not a paper tank, despite possibly looking like it. And so that's just another reason I like to play it. Now, what's happening in this game? Well, it's Erlenmeyer, right? My team is not winning the top right, despite, obviously, that's where most of our tanks went. And that's because their team actually provided a good enough push. The CS63, he ran into me, whatever. I am going to help him over here if he's going to spot, though. Because I realize our flank is going to be left wide open if I don't do something about it. Now, this Waffle, God forbid, don't know what he was doing, but we got rid of him, and that's good. It's 10 to 9, so it's not too dire of a situation just yet. But he says, cover me. And I'm thinking, as much as I don't like what you did to me earlier, if you're going to get me, or if you're going to spot for me, I'll take the free damage, right? It's better than going and brawling over there for little damage. Now, this 50B is going to get very lucky this game. That one went straight into the dirt like 3 feet in front of me. But these guys are pushing forward, and I decide, well, free shots on these guys, right? Somehow spotted. I didn't think the chisel was that close, and I'm pretty sure I have muffled shot on this crew. The chisel just auto locks my drive wheel, and he luckily goes through. To be honest, I don't think he should have, but he's gone now, so I'm not afraid of poking for the kill. There he goes. Now it's 7-6. It's still not a dire situation. So it's not feeling like I have to make much pressure. It's not feeling like I have to turn back around and help the team. It is 6-6 now, though, after an artillery takes out our action 10. And again, I feel like that shot went right where I wanted it to, but somehow the 50B reversed quick enough to not get shot there. Seeing that the Panzer 7 and the Chisel made that play, and the Chieftain might make that play too, I'm still sitting in this position because it's a nice in-between between the 50B and the Chieftain. Now, the 50B keeps poking up when I'm not aiming at him, and it's going to start to really bug me. Because I want to get this damage, but he backs up just enough to where I don't hit him there. We are losing now, though, 5-6, but it's still not like a situation where it feels like, man, a play has to be made. It still feels like I can sit here and wait for the 50B to give me the damage, right? But the enemy artillery is going to continue to make my flank less defensed, or defended, sorry. And to me, that's a bit annoying. So, as much as the CS63 is probably going to hate me for seemingly leaving him, I feel like at this moment, I do have to turn around. Now, our artillery shot AP there and only tracked the TNH. Luckily, our waffle clips out the Chieftain, so all I have to do is take out this TNH, who's not looking at me because he's looking at Artie. Now, I'd noticed the tank destroyer to my right, but I realized there's no way he's poking the ridge just yet. It is an E4 who's one shot, and he's not going to poke me when targeted, but if he thinks I'm going to bum rush the TNH, that gives him enough confidence to think he can poke, and that gives me enough time to turn around and shoot him. He only has 6 degrees of gun efficiency, so he really had to come over that hill to get me. Now, knowing the 50B's over there, and I don't think I noticed that the tank destroyer was spotted just yet, I pushed the TNH, and I hope that artillery doesn't kill me. Now, we used our medkit, and we don't have a premium medkit. And I normally don't do that on most tanks, because the premium, or the standard medkit gives you enough of basically pain tolerance to where if you need it in the match, you only need it once. Usually it has enough crew protections to keep your crew alive against normal tanks. But against artillery on an open top tank, kind of a dumb idea, right? But again, being a tank destroyer, you don't normally expect to get shot by artillery. Now, I'm making this play because, like I said, I don't think I saw the tank destroyer spotted where he was before I killed the TNH. I made that play because I thought the tank destroyer would be in the north and the 50B would be right where he was, right? I knew the 50B would be over there on our ridge next to our cap. I made a misplay because I didn't see the tank destroyer spotted and thought he'd be further in the north, but he was right next to me. So artillery takes out half of our remaining HP. Now, I try to go further north to get shots in this Death Star, and if he pokes my teammate, I would help him, but the teammate takes him out. Sadly, teammate being a waffle, and the Death Star shooting a HESH round, luckily not a HE round, actually put him down to 100 HP, and he gets taken out for the 50B. Now, we have a dead loader, and it's going to take 3 shots to kill this 50B, and 3 shots to kill artillery. So what do? I auto-locked the 50B and hit him before, and luckily he's going to give me another shot there. All those times I was missing across the ridge, we're now hitting these. Perfect. Now he's 2 shot. But I realize, okay, he's playing passive. He's backing off. Maybe he's on reload right now, too. I need to put this building between me and him, and I need to get off this ridge because it's prime shooting for artillery, right? And speaking of artillery, would you believe it? With Artillery 2.0, artillery now has HP to go and fight you with. So you have a lot of instances of this happening where artillery at the end of the battle, instead of sitting back and waiting for their teammates to spot for them, decide to make use of their HP to get in close. And that is why Artillery 2.0 was a extreme buff. Now, luckily, they nerfed the hell out of their camo, and they don't have the greatest view range. So this tree that's opaque in front of me, and the tree I'm in, was enough camo with muffled shot to not get spotted by him for those 2 shots. But obviously, when he drives past that, I get spotted, but it's no word, right? Now we're at 5 kills and 8,000 damage. Again, our loader's still dead, because we don't have a med kit for it. So, the 50B can now just rush me at this point. But what do? I turn around, put my armor towards the ridge where I know the 50B is going to poke from. Either the left, the top, or the right. Giving me ample enough time to look in his direction if spotted. And I back up. Now, this tank doesn't have the greatest gun depression, but I know this map. I know there's a divot with enough of a ridge to put my back up and to keep my lower plate covered. And that's just over to the left. Luckily, he does get spotted. I don't hit that one, though. And I didn't get spotted when shooting. Very important. He still doesn't know where I am. He knows my general vicinity, but he doesn't know what position I'm playing in just yet. He might have saw that shot and knows that I'm out in the field, which is why I'm actually going to intentionally knock down some trees here. If he's looking in this direction, and he knows I'm going to go this way, hopefully that means he pushes out far. I either want him to push up on the top where he just was, or far to the right. And that's because I don't want him actually in front of me below this ridge line. But you see here, I have a lip that I can kind of drive forward into and hide my lower plate. And then I can back up and use my gun elevation instead of my gun depression to shoot him. But he's in the wrong position for me. This is not where I wanted him to be. I wanted him to be to my right. But I'm still going to take it anyway because he's not looking at me. Now, I did forget that there's actually a rock there. I think I shot the rock. I thought maybe the bales were what were covering my reticle, but it wasn't. He shoots the dirt. He's now one shot. All I need to do is reload, but with a dead gunner, this is kind of scary. I'm hiding my lower plate as best I can. He bounces. As soon as he bounced there, I knew his interclip wasn't going to save him and that we were going to be able to kill him. Plus, he had to shoot me twice. So, very tight situation, very odd situation. But we come out on top with 6 kills, Top Gun, 8,700 damage, and 1786 base XP. I didn't think we were going to win that fight with a dead gunner. Or a dead loader, sorry, as soon as artillery hit us and the Death Star was poking. But luckily, our waffle clips out the Death Star. The Death Star didn't load HE, but instead hash. And we were able to take out the 50B and the artillery in ways that, honestly, I was shocked at. This happened live, too, and most of my chat was like, what? How did the 50B let you get away with that? How was Artie not spotting you? But I think muffled shot definitely saved me on this crew. And I think that the artillery 2.0 change actually worked in my benefit. Because if artillery didn't have that HP, he would have definitely sat back. And that would have been dangerous to fight the 50B, having to 2-shot the 50B. If the 50B just rushed me and died, that still would have given artillery time to aim and hit me, right? And he had just taken out 500 of my HP previously when I got spotted previously. So actually, as much as I don't like Artillery 2.0, the confidence it gave that artillery made him make a misplay. And look at him, he did 5,300 damage on the enemy team. So he was definitely a good player and a smart player, but he misplayed at the end there, coming after me. And thankfully he did, because we got the clutch out because of that. Like I said, if I had to fight the 50B by myself with him having artillery support from the back of the map, that would have been super scary. I would have had to go and rush artillery, but then potentially get capped out or something. Right? Anyway, that's not the only game I have for you. Because even though that was a good 263 clutch, I actually have another game I wanted to showcase. But it wasn't good enough for its own video. So I thought I'd, tack it on here at the end. It's not the longest of games, so let's get right into it. It is a assault game on Azure Coast. Now, being assault, you can see that we have to attack. Assault I don't really enjoy in this game because most of the time one team has an advantage. These are normal spots. So the only advantage the enemy team has is that they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is play passive and wait out the time and they win, right? Whereas if this was encounter, you can't do that because it ended in a draw. If it was standard battle, you have to fight. without capping to either kill all or have the most damage, right? Same with Team Destruction. But in an assault match, they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is defend. And you're going to see them do exactly the opposite. And that's why I thought this was a funny match. And I sort of made good use of this tank and good plays against the enemy team, who, in all intents and purposes, should have killed me with the absolute insanity that they brought upon me. So noticing that my team isn't going bottom right, and that we have to attack, I'm not going to just sit back and wait, right? I have to do something. We have to make a play. We only have 10 minutes. A minute's already spent getting into position. And the enemy team's already around the corner of the buildings pushing us. So maybe they did spawn a little bit closer, and it's not exactly normal spawns, because, to be honest, that felt like they're a bit quick for heavies. And look how many of them there are. And they are pushing. Not wanting the flank to be left wide open, I think I'm going to try and play with this Type 63. Our team isn't winning the right, seemingly. As you can tell that we're kind of pushed back. And this is, again, why I don't like assault matches, because it just makes the most, like, the weirdest plays. Despite the enemy team, all they need to do is defend. They are absolutely pushing the right side of the map right now. And it's not good for us. It's not looking good for us. That was an extreme high roll, 660 alpha. Or 660 damage, 550 alpha. Now this Teethbreaker makes a mistake, thinking he's just going to come and clip me out. I had noticed he was doing that previously, so I was turning already, hit him with the third person shot, noticed that I have shots on this VK, and then realize I should probably turn around and start actually shooting this area since the VK is fighting my other teammate. But seeing as where the Carnarvon was coming from, and knowing that there's more heavy tanks than just what were spotted, and I don't know if there are other tanks coming for me just yet, I decide, actually, I do need to regroup with my team. I can't play that by myself. Yes, it's a tier 8 heavy tank. Yes, I'm a tier 10 tank destroyer. Yes, it sounds like it should be easy, but who knows how much support he has. And luckily I did do that, because right now we spotted one medium behind me. We take out the VK-101B, and our Senjutsu here is using his flamethrower. That's two medium tanks behind me. And so I think I better cover the flank. I better cover the rear, right? I'm now with the team, sort of, and I can retreat a little bit, but I better cover the rear. Now, I see the Stone Cold. Notice where he's going. I shoot through soft cover despite the reticle not being red, because I know it was soft cover and I can hit the CS-53. He's just going to rush me. Big mistake. I know the Stone Cold's coming around on the left side, and there he is. He's spotted. But I can't let the CS-63 get around me and the Stone Cold play the ridge. So I turn to shoot him. But the Stone Cold's not playing the ridge. Instead, he's rushing me now that he knows he has my rear. So what am I going to do? Luckily, you can climb over this rock. And then I'm going to put him in front of me. I'm going to flip this around on the guy. He was chasing me, and now he's in front of me. Look how that works. So, again, being a tier 8 and we're a tier 10 tank destroyer, we're just going to easily make work of this guy. We did shoot him just in the face. Sorry, bud. He did juke me out here, so he does get a free shot off, but he's dead. And our team, all of a sudden, has won the left side, and now it's 8-1. What did the enemy team do wrong? All they had to do was defend, but they made the most brain-dead pushes and utilized nothing to their advantage. Smart on the Stone Cold to chase me, but again, like I said, luckily I could drive over that rock and switched positions with him. And now it's just a lonely T-58 Heavy. He's not going to last very long, but he can still one-shot me, so I can't just bum rush him and expect to get the free kill. But I do want more damage, putting us above 6,000 damage. I would like the 5th kill and a little bit more damage, but I'm going to bounce this one, because I'm bad. Yeah, see, that game was pretty quick. It was quite interesting, and I think a play was made that was kind of funny, but it wouldn't make its own video, so decided to put it here. But that's the power of the 263. I just love the 263, and I think everybody should go and play the 263 so that you can make my remarks easier for me. I kid. Thanks for watching, though. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.